Hey guys, King of Trials here to be your judge, your jury, and your analyst. And today I bring to you a 5-0 with the best Great League team for Season 13, at least Part 1. So PvPoke.com just released the top performers, and this happened to be the best team. It's going to be Stunfisk, Pelipper, Safe Switch, and Sableye to close out. In a sense, it's a double Safe Switch team because you have the option of going to Pelipper or Sableye, but usually here's what happens. You Safe Switch into Pelipper because Pelipper is factually the strongest Safe Switch as of right now, thanks to the wing attack buff, and then Sableye closes out. But you could also send Sableye in if they decide to Safe Switch. So depending on which Safe Switch they go, you go into Sableye or you go into Pelipper. For example, you win the lead, they Safe Switch into Deoxys defense. Guess what? Sableye is a fantastic one against Deoxys defense. Without further ado, before we get started, this is going to be my therapist mental health tip of the day. You could skip this by going straight to the chapters. I apologize for for some odd reason, when my last video populated, the music was a lot louder than my voice, even though I put the settings to where it should balance both of them out, so I fixed it this time around, and hopefully it just stays that way. But before we get started, since I'm talking about the best Great League team, I'm going to tell you about the best free mental health apps. This is straight from Psych Central. It is the premier resource. I love using it because it is reviewed by mental health professionals or by specialists in their fields. And these are 10 free mental health apps. They literally have definitely take a look at this. There's a few, they're definitely, the criteria they based this off was free, the user reviews, so they're good apps, they're not just a regular one. All the apps are available on iOS, but all but one are available on Android. So whether or not only all but one are in there. And they're all vetted. So all apps have been vetted to make sure they meet Psych Central's medical, editorial, and business standards. That's why I freaking love this website. They go above and beyond to make sure that these apps are actually great for you. And here are the 10 here. 10 best behavior. They have some for anxiety, PTSD, deep breathing, quitting smoking, stress relief, CBT and ABT, sleep, symptom tracker, and bipolar disorder. Now, the best for better sleep, the one I use for sleep is actually a paid one called Calm. So Calm you have to pay for, but Calm is definitely the one my go-to for sleep. But remember, this one is free. So if you're looking for free health apps that you can download, and it's free unlike Pokemon Go PvP where you have to blow your left leg in a limb to make Pokemon that are competitive for Pokemon Go PvP, then this article is for you. Definitely take a look at it. And without further ado, this is going to be the best Great League team for Open Great League. Well, the best Great League team for Open Great League, no doubt. Anyways, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here are the battles. We have Stunfisk onto Pelipper. And this is actually really interesting. This one's not sped up because this trainer actually, if you look right here, they immediately top left. And I am unsure why. I was like, yo, you know you win that lead, right? Because Pelipper wins CMP against Gfisk, and you pretty much win the 2 shields. So I was very interested. Especially if you get an extra energy lead. As you see, we lose the lead from Medicham, and now we have to Safe Switch onto our Pelipper. I had someone comment on one of my videos that they were like, dude, your last 5-0, you got straight algorithm wins. Well, here you go. I lost the lead. And it's kind of funny because usually in every shoutcast, I usually have at least one battle where I lose the lead. In this case, we got Pelipper onto Gfisk. Now, the reason why my opponent should have never thrown Gfisk onto my Pelipper is because if Pelipper has a little bit of an energy lead, you can win the 2 shield. Well, you win the 2 shield. So as you see here, I can eat 1 rock slide, but if you expend both of your shields, you're going to be able to straight weather ball, and you're going to be able to take switch. So we lose the lead against Medicham. We're going to win switch with Pelipper, and you already know what you do. It's actually pretty simple. You just realign. Realignment is a very basic thing you do in Pokemon Go PvP. You lose the lead, you Safe Switch. You win the Safe Switch so that you can realign your opponent's lead onto your back row, which is likely going to have a strong matchup against your opponent's lead. In this case, we have Sableye versus Medicham, and my opponent sends in Skarmory. So they either miss-swapped or they should have definitely sent Skarmory instead of their Gfisk onto my Pelipper. So they're just going to farm down. Now we have Gfisk onto that Skarmory, and all I have to do is send in this Sableye, and they're likely going to top left, and they do because that's game. Like I mentioned, basic strategy. You lose the lead, you save switch, you win switch, you realign. Boom. And then that equals dubs. So how's that for the algo? Speaking of algorithm, here's another algorithm, the mirror match. G-Fisk on G-Fisk action. So here's the thing. Whoever earthquakes through shields is the one that wins. I will say that again. Whoever earthquakes through shields or is able to bait enough is the one that wins. In this case, I'm going for the Hail Mary 69420 earthquake, and they do not shield. My pancake is able to quake the unholy crap out of this poor pancake, and now I call their earthquake. Now that they're in danger, all I have to do, I'm going ahead and just gathering a little more energy. If you notice, I'm only going one off from my earthquake because of timing, and I'm going to fire rock slide. My opponent shouldn't shield here, but they do, and I'm like kind of scratching my head as to why, because here's the thing, you're going to lose alignment anyway. So I'm going to shield here, and I'm going to fire down their Stunfisk. So I'm down 2 shields, which is kind of smart on their part, but at the same time, here comes a Noctowl. So my opponent gives up swap, and they send in a Noctowl. And I'm kind of confused. I'm very bamboozled right now, because even though I'm down shields, yeah, Noctowl got buffed and got Shadow Ball, but it doesn't matter if you ball out, dude. Your wing attacks ain't doing any damage. For real, though. So my burnt pancake is going to fire off these rock slide, and somehow I don't know where these rocks even come from. We're fighting in a forest, so where the heck do rocks come from? In the entire, you know what, this is kind of an interesting topic. In the entire time PvP's been out for 4 years, it's the same exact setting, with the exception of weather. How come it's literally, we can't make a new background? In 4 years, we can't make a new freaking background for battling? It's literally the same freaking, like, tree, and then like the whole thing. I know this sounds like I know I'm complaining about this, but you know, it's a very valid, you know, it's very valid. Like, how do we have the same background for like the same, like, for 4 freaking years? Like, come on, Niantic. Well, it's Niantic, so it's what it is, you know what I mean? Now we got Aurorus coming into my Pelipper, which is actually a terrible idea because Weather Ball is super effective and Aurorus isn't exactly the bulkiest thing in the universe. So I'm going to overcharge a little bit right here and then fire my second Weather Ball. This should take out the Aurorus. And I'm kind of wondering what they have in the back, because this is game. Like, this is game. So, I didn't even need Sableye, didn't even come to battle. As you see, if you win the mirror match, whoever gets the Earthquake through shields or is able to bait both shields and then fire the Earthquake is the one that wins the matchup. Now, this is absolute destruction. Speaking of algorithm, I have a Shadow Gliscor onto my G-Fisk. That's a terrible matchup for us, so we have to swap out. That's because Earthquake and Rock Slide are both resisted. So, this isn't exactly a great matchup for us to stay in. And we get a Venusaur. So I'm like, oh, this is great. So I'm going to fire my Weather Ball, and they are going to actually make they have giant coconuts. And as you see, they called in non-hurricane. What's great about Venusaur versus Pelipper is that with Pelipper's wing attack being buffed damage-wise, you're now able to chip down at Venusaur a lot faster than usual. So as you see here, I'm going to double fire Weather Ball, and my opponent's going to actually commit both of their shields, which is kind of nuts to me, because why would you, like, I'm like, why not just let Venusaur go? Because you don't know, because even if if you let it go, both my Stunfisk and my Sableye don't really have the best, well, they have a good match bits, but this is what happens. So Venusaur is going to go down. Now I'm going to be able to get extra energy here. So I'm not going, as you see, they give up swap and swap into Gliscor, and I'm like, oh, they either don't like Sableye or they gave up swap because Sableye has a great matchup against whatever's in there. We're going to fire off the Foul Play. They do have a Night Slash. However, Shadow Gliscor does not get same type of DAC bonus. That's what called. It does not get stabbed. So you do not have a sharp knife to cut me or stab me with. We're going to be able to farm down Gliscor, and then in it is going to come the almost dead Venusaur or a Stunfisk. So the reason why I'm going to send in I'm going to fire this Foul Play first is because in order for them to win, they need to be able to do more than an Earthquake here. One Earthquake doesn't actually wipe out Stunfisk. Yeah, I swapped it late, but I already know they're probably going to try to sack into their Venusaur. So this is a very ballsy move though, because I have to be very precise with my energy management. So as you see, your Venusaur comes in, I'm going to fire up this Rock Slide, and then I'm going to summon my 69420 Earthquake from the earth, from the ground, and absolutely wipe my opponents from the face of the planet. With 1 HP in a dream, I'm able to make the perfect calculation, and somehow IVs do matter in this matchup. They matter when they matter. And this Earthquake goes through, and then we take out our opponent's G-Fisk, and we get the dub. So before people say I get Algo, there you go. Bam, I just beat the algorithm. Screw you, Algo. Giant middle finger. Yeah. Anyways, for the last battle, we got Stunfisk onto Primeape. So speaking of the algorithm, hi, Algo. So I'm getting super algoed right now, and somehow I shouldn't be winning these matchups because, you know, the algo is supposed to be the all-knowing god of destruction when it comes to your algorithm. It's like Demon Slayer, you know what I mean? In Demon Slayer, the main villain, or what's his name is, the dude that I forgot. Demon Slayer Season 3 is coming out, by the way. So the main villain is supposed to be the all-knowing god. And what's even worse here is what's his name? The Mizuki, or the Demon Slayer's boss, or what's his name is. They even call my Hurricane. So my opponent calls the Hurricane. They grab the shield. So I'm on a shield here. And I'm already in a lot of trouble. And I'm like, wow, well, this kind of sucks. Because I'm going to actually eat this Sky Attack right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire off Hurricane. And then I'm going to try to farm down that Noctowl. I want to get as much energy as humanely possible, especially if this lands. Hurricane goes through, we're in the one shield, but I'm going to farm. I'm going to farm so much that I'm going to collect all the apples, and they actually give up switch is what I wanted. So my opponent gives up swap, and then they stop tapping. I'm like, why? Even if they kept tapping, like, because they gave up switch, it's still a bad matchup for them, and I'm kind of like scratching my head. I'm like, why? And apparently they're lagging, but I don't know why you're lagging. You were fine just earlier ago, and this is what the nature of Go Battle Lag. They still fire the move Go, but like I mentioned, it didn't really matter because they gave up switch and that Primeape had no energy. They wouldn't be able to get to a second Night Slash anyways. So whether they lagged or not, it would have not determined the outcome match, especially since they have a Trevenant in the back. And that's basically game. Because all I have to do is just do a bunch of chip damage with these Shadow Claws, and then G-Fist has leftover energy. So I can send in G-Fist. They're probably going to try to catch with their Noctowl, but it's not going to be to any avail because all I need to do is send in G-Fist and dump a bunch of rocks on my opponent. That's literally all that's going to happen. So we're going to go ahead, they send in the Noctowl, and we're going to we're going to fire the Dark Hado. We're going to fire Akuma. Well, yeah, Street Fighter. For those who know Street Fighter. Then we're going to send in, we're going to combo breaker and send in the IHOP pancake. I love IHOP. I like pancakes. You like pancakes. I like waffles. We like waffles. So, if you do not like waffles, please unsubscribe from my channel. I'm just kidding. You don't unsubscribe from my channel if you don't like waffles. It's perfectly fine if you don't like waffles. But why? Waffles are good, yo. Like, waffles are, especially with, like, the maple syrup or, like, honey. And here is the sweet, speaking of the maple syrup with the honey, here's the sweet 5-0 that I have promised you. I hope you all enjoyed the battles. Here we go. 5-0 with the best team for Open Great League. And that's GG's. And that's game. I hope y'all enjoyed the battles. As you see, the Stunfisk Pelipper core is insane, and it does extremely well. And it's doing work against a lot of the meta, which just happens. That's why this team is literally the #1 team. But it's kind of interesting. A lot of things really fell off. Like, I see Trevenants, but I don't see a lot of them in these top performers. Actually, what do I like? When I checked, let's see, who was it? I know it was really weird when I saw it because I was like, wow, that's kind of like it's kind of interesting just like how much it shifted. So if you look on the top, you literally don't have any Trevenants on any team except for like the top like 9. So the top 5 teams do not have any Trevenants. So it's very interesting. And we have, instead we have like a bunch of Lanturns. You have Obama Snow. Make sure y'all vote for Obama. Of course, Medicham and Sableye running around rampant everywhere, taking over everyone's souls and their elo. But because I got promoted to head wrestling coach and I'm going to have to be really busy with that, I pretty much don't care for this season. I'm going to try for Legend, but if I'm not able to do my battles, I'm not going to bust my cojones over it. Especially since PvP is still broken. If you saw here in one of my battles, someone lagged out or lagged in the middle of it, and I think 2 weeks ago, I lagged out and lost 2 5-0s. Even though I don't have my elo yet, if I did have my elo, those 2 5-0s would have mattered a lot. I still don't get why, with me being the only one with god level internet. Yes, I checked my ping. Somehow I'm still lagging. It's just like it's just like how I complained about, we have the same stadium thing. But of course, what's better than, what's more important on Niantic's radar? Elite raids and having Hoopa Unbound. That's what they care about the most. That's, and all the money they're trying to shove out of you with all these raids. And of course, we're going to have raids be the big thing for the new Hoenn Tour that's coming up. Because you're going to have Hoenn Tour, then you're going to have the Sinnoh Tour, and then, they're just going to keep on going until you use up they recycle all their content, and they just drain all the money from their fan base before they actually release Pokemon Go 2. Or they let it right off to sunset. So, yeah. But I hope y'all are enjoying Season 13. And I'm definitely enjoying this kind of like, just like chilling and like doing my own things. But like these battles are actually pretty dang sweaty. So, yes. And I didn't get Algoed. If you look at thing, I freaking lost. I lost so many leads in this shoutcast, I swear. But without further ado, I hope y'all enjoying the season. Do me a huge favor, please like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm. Good luck with your Go Battle, and I will see y'all on the next video.